The Grand Tournament is Hearthstone's next expansion, and it's bringing with it 132 new cards, as well as a new mechanic called Inspire, which encourages the use of your hero power. There will certainly be some great cards coming out, but there have been some massive duds announced already. Here are our 5 worst cards announced for the Grand Tournament so far. Kicking us off is a new warrior weapon, the King's Defender. With 3 damage and 2 durability, it will also gain 1 more durability if you have a taunt on the board. So basically it's a more expensive fiery war axe that comes a turn later but might give you an extra durability. The war axe is a great card, one of the best in the warrior's arsenal, and getting the same damage with 1 more durability might seem great. However, the problem is what makes the war axe so good is it's only a 2 mana cost. It takes care of early minions until turn 4 when Death's Bite can take over. The King's Defender lands between these 2 weapons in a spot that really doesn't need filling, and it's essentially made redundant by the warrior's current choices. A second weapon takes the 4th spot, this time in the shape of the Rogue's Poisoned Blade. The Rogue gets a bit of a tough time in this expansion as its hero power isn't really supposed to be used every turn, meaning they will struggle to get value from its Inspire mechanic. The Poison Blade was designed to let them use the hero power every turn and boost the blade's damage rather than replacing it. However, at 4 mana, it's only 1 less than Assassin's Blade, which offers 2 more damage and 1 more durability as standard. By the time the Poison Blade reached 3 attack damage, it would have cost you 8 mana and had taken 3 turns. Perhaps the Rogue will get some very overpowered Inspire cards to make the Poison Blade worthwhile, but at the current moment, it's a very weak choice with too high of a mana cost. Lowly SQUIRE is in at number 3, and while I assume he was put in to teach the players about the Inspire mechanic, he's just awful. He's probably best compared to the Undertaker. Same cost and stat line and fairly similar mechanic. The difference is the Undertaker lets you make a strong turn 2 play with something like a Mad Scientist or Haunted Creeper. The SQUIRE, however, wants you to use your hero power, which for 90% of the decks out there is a very weak turn 2 play. And in decks where you want to use your hero power on turn 2, the SQUIRE has no place. Northsea Kraken is a nice card to see added to the game as it's a high mana common, which is an area of card pool that's currently very small. Unfortunately, it's just not that great of a card, and although it's nice to get another late game common, when it comes to constructed, we need to compare it to other minions around the same cost, and stacked up against Ragnaros, Ysera, and Alexstrasza, it falls very short and won't be finding its way into any top tier decks. Our final worst card is the legendary JUSTICAR TRUEHEART, which while it's really cool is still pretty terrible. The minion replaces your starting hero power with a better one. For the most part, it doubles it, so a mage now deals 2 damage, for example. The problem is that for the majority of classes, this change isn't really that great. The minion itself is very weak, and to get great value out of using it, you'll really need to use your hero power more than 3 times over the rest of the game. In a control warrior, it's not bad, as 4 armor each turn is nice as long as you draw the game out. For druids, it's okay as it's a 4 stat point swing, and on a mage, it might help you get more good trades. However, on a hunter, it only gives you 1 more damage on your hero power, making it way too slow for them. Paladins get 2 recruits, which is good if you have a quartermaster in your hand, but filling the board with 1/1s is going to cause you problems otherwise. With priests, it is good if you can heal for the full 4 health, but how often will you be able to heal minions for that much without overhealing and wasting some of the bonus? Rogues will get a 2/2 weapon instead of a 1/2 weapon, which isn't much more of use. Shamans can now pick their totem rather than getting a random one, which is probably the most useless of all these powers. And the Warlock no longer takes 2 damage, which really isn't a big deal in the first place. Those are just our 5 worst cards coming to the new expansion. Agree or disagree? Let us know what you think down below in the comments. Till next time, enjoy the game.